Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3.
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3.
You are now listening to the Backlook Cinema Podcast with Zach and Zoe. Thank you for joining us as we talk about the movies of yesteryear. You can reach us on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter by searching for Backlook Cinema. Check our show notes for more info, and now, let's get it in.
Hi, this is Zach.
And this is Zoe, and welcome to the Backlook Cinema Podcast with Zach and Zoe, where we take a look back at the movies of yesteryear. And the reason we started this episode was, we started this podcast, was to strengthen the bond between my son Zach and me, Zoe. And we watch movies that I loved when I was growing up in the 70s, 80s, and early 90s, and we get Zach's impressions on those great movies. And this is the 29th episode.
You can get t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, face masks, and a bunch of other items at our website, backlookcinema.com.
And please follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and other socials. You can find the details in the show notes. Also, at backlookcinema.com, you can leave us direct feedback, comments, suggestions, etc. Email us at fanmail@backlookcinema.com.
And please, if you like our show, then rate and review us on Apple Podcasts or whatever podcast app that you might be using.
Yeah, so you'll have to forgive me. It's super late, and I'm super tired. I've been up since yesterday morning, but I'm powering through it. I can do it. I can do it all night. So what have you been up to?
Recently, I'm just now playing Resident Evil 8 or Resident Evil Village.
All right. So how do you like the game so far?
I like it a lot.
I hear a lot of people like that game. Did you download it digitally?
Yeah, I downloaded it digitally.
Oh, okay.
Only thing I struggle with are the puzzles because sometimes I just don't understand.
Right. Yeah, the puzzles are key to the RE game. So when did you start doing that game?
Today.
Oh, so you just got it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. There's so many games that I haven't even touched yet, so I'm not sure if I want to try and buy another game. Like another game that came out was the remasters of the Mass Effect series, and I was like,
You already played them. There's no point.
I know, right? It's like I already played them, but it's like, I think I might want to do it anyway. Maybe I should get into, we should wait till there's a PS5 finally becomes available. They're supposed to be doing a redesign of the PS5, but, that's going to we're going to hear that one. They're supposed to do a redesign, but I don't think it's going to be it's going to be anything on the exterior. What I think the rumor is, or one of the rumors anyway, is that they're just redesigning some of the chips so that they can make more of them, because the way it's designed now, it's hard to get the silicone that they need to make the innards of the thing. So they want to redesign it so it'll be easier to get the stuff that they need to make it. So Dag, is that the whole thing?
Yep, that's it.
You watching no anime or nothing?
Nope.
Oh, okay. So, but you're working now, so it's working and what you call it. So, what you think about the new the new news about the vaccine?
At least it will convince people to go get it.
Hopefully, yeah. Not only that, but by the time people hear this podcast, it'll be your mom's birthday, exactly 7 days from today. So you've already got her present. So you're pretty much done then, huh?
Yep.
So now it's my turn, I guess. But now that since both me and her are vaccinated, we could probably go out. Maybe I'll take her to a movie.
You can.
Or go bowling. She's doing that now. She's been wilding out ever since she got vaccinated. Maybe we can go to that comedy club. Maybe we'll do that. I don't know. We'll do something. It's her birthday, so we gotta do something, right?
Yep.
Just don't want to buy her any more objects. She could take care of that herself. So I've been reading books. Well, finishing that book that I had started last week. since it was a movie adaptation, it's a very short book. So that one was A Million Ways to Die in the West. I forgot who wrote it. I know it was a movie that, what's his name? Seth MacFarlane made. So I think he wrote the book. I would have to double check. What? You know, it wasn't that bad once you got close to the end of it. It's kind of started off kind of rough, kind of a little bit dull, because it's the same humor as in Family Guy. But, and that humor continues, but it gets better by the time you get near the end. So it's a pretty interesting story. Maybe I will watch the movie. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. So, and I still hadn't gotten to watching The Bad Batch. I don't know if I should watch it. I think I should probably watch the Clone Wars.
That's up to you.
There's so many episodes of the Clone Wars.
That's up to you.
I'm stuck on season 3. I'm in the middle of season 3, and I got like 4 more seasons to go. That's a lot. That's a lot of television watching. But I guess I better get on it, and then I can watch The Bad Batch and what's the other one? Rebels simultaneously. And then they got that other show that I ain't even touched yet. There's just so much stuff. And it's the golden age of Star Wars. So, that's basically all I've been up to. Listening to podcasts and listen to the radio. That's not even the radio, just the podcast and whatever's on YouTube Music. Sometimes just open up the app and press one of the buttons and see what comes out. So, why don't you tell them about the movie that we did?
So we watched 48 Hours.
48 hours! This is the first 48 hours, not all the other 48 hour shows that are on now. Is the first one to be called 48 Hours.
So, oddball cop and tough guy Jack Cates is the only survivor of a cop shooting, and in hunting down the murderer collects Reggie Heyman. Yeah, the murderer collects Reggie Heyman from jail for 48 hours. Heyman is oddly motivated to help. The killer is searching for his stash of cash. Cates and Heyman, who have the black-white cop crook thing to work out, more surprisingly good partners as they navigate through the city looking for their suspects. That was by John Vogel.
Yeah, that dynamic of having a black and white partner, like in this case, it's a white cop with a black convict.
So that's not where even his money to begin with.
Right. That dynamic. I don't know if this movie is what started it, but that's very popular in the early 80s. There's a show that followed that dynamic in Miami Vice, and that was with Don Johnson and Philip something. His guy with 3 names. Forgot his name, but the black guy. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Like I said, don't hurt yourself.
I know Philip isn't a name. Philip Michael Thomas, that might be it. Let's go with that for right now. And so, and so you'll see it a lot in film and television. This movie was released in December 1982 by Paramount Pictures. It grossed over $78 million in the U.S. and Canada, and that was on a $12 million budget. It got favorable reviews. Very, very favorable. So who's in this movie?
We have Nick Nolte.
Nolte.
He was playing Jack Cates. He was in Hulk, The Mandalorian, Down and Out in Beverly Hills, and Cape Fear.
Right. So do you recognize Mr. Nolte?
As Hulk, yeah.
Yeah, he was that first Hulk movie. What's the dude's name?
You mean a TV show?
No. There's a movie called The Hulk, and it was by Ang Lee. It was the first Marvel Hulk movie, and they had Eric Bana as Bruce Banner. So I actually liked that movie. It was actually okay, but it wasn't the super fantastic blockbuster that people hoped.
And then they had the sequel, and they were like, let's recast the Hulk, Bruce Banner, because, things are working on. And then the Avengers came, they're like, let's recast Bruce Banner one more time. People need to know.
I don't know why they recast him a second time. It didn't quite make any sense to me. But
it feels like the Batman treatment all over again.
I think they felt that, I forgot the guy that played Bruce Banner the second time, but he's a very notable actor, and they felt that he would give a stronger performance than Eric Bana. But it turns out he was kind of hard to work with. He wanted to basically rewrite the script. He was very heavy-handed in the script. So when the time came around to do the Marvel Hulk, or the final version of the Hulk, they got what's his name that played Bruce Banner? That dude. Well, they got the final dude because he's easy to work with. I can't remember his name right now. But yeah, so in The Mandalorian, he was basically playing the voice. I don't think he was the man. Or maybe he was the man in the costume, because the man was so short, I can't really tell if they used the man in the costume or he just played the voice. And I don't remember Down and Out in Beverly Hills. I remember that was a popular movie. And Cape Fear, I saw that movie. I don't know if I want to watch that again. Because it's one of those movies. It's just creepy. It's just creepy. And no, you know what really bothers me about Cape Fear? There's a guy who bites a girl's cheek off, and that was it for me. I was like, I can't watch that again. So this movie also stars Eddie Murphy. He stars as Reggie Hammond, and he was in The Nutty Professor, Dreamgirls, Harlem Nights, and a bunch of other shows. He's also a prolific actor, and this is Eddie Murphy getting started.
We have Auntie O'Toole.
Annette
O'Toole. He was playing. That a guy's name?
You know worse. Annette is are you talking about the name that she played?
Okay.
Elaine?
Elaine. She was in Nash Bridges, Smallville, and Superman 3.
Right. So I didn't see much of Smallville, but I know she played I think Superman's mom in Smallville, and she played Lana Lang in Superman 3. So they thought it was cute to cast her in as Superman's mom in Smallville because she was in Superman 3. Frank McGray, he played Hayden. He was in License to Kill, Lock Up, and The Last Action Hero.
And we also have James Remar. He was Gans. In Too Fast, Too Furious, Blade, Trinity, and Ratatouille.
And a bunch of other shows. This dude acts so much. Sometimes he'll be on two shows at the same time. They can't get enough of James Remar. There's also David Patrick Kelly. He played Luthor. He was in The Crow, Flags of Our Fathers, Last Man Standing, and so Luthor was the dude with the money that they're chasing all the time, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember that guy? Does he look in any way familiar to you?
Not fully, but I want to say he was in Ant-Man then.
No, he wasn't in Ant-Man. He was one of the. We reviewed a movie that in one of our early episodes. He was in Commando.
No, I don't remember that.
He played Sully. Remember Sully when I said I would kill you last?
Oh, him. Yeah.
Yeah, big chicks you did. I lied.
Him.
That was that guy. Because I didn't recognize him when I looked at his picture when I started watching the movie. It's like, oh yeah, that's Sully. He did this movie before he did Commando. And there's another connection to Commando we'll get to later on. Who's next?
Oh, yeah. Sonny Landham?
Yeah, that's good.
He was playing Billy Bear. He was in Predator, The Warriors, and Action Jackson.
Yeah, he's in a lot of movies. He's always playing the big heavy. I think in...
Big heavy silent type, more like it.
I never saw The Warriors. I don't know if he was a good guy or bad guy, but he's a real big dude. There's a story on the set of Predator that there were a lot of bodyguards around. And I think that he thought the bodyguards were for him to protect him. It's like, I don't, I can take care of myself. I don't need these bodyguards. And they told him, the bodyguards aren't for you. The bodyguards are protect everybody else from you. So that's, I guess he has a reputation. The next guy is Brian James. He played Kehoe. He was in Blade Runner, The Fifth Element, and Striking Distance. So, you've seen The Fifth Element, right?
I believe so.
So, if you could think of a strange-looking man in the movie that we just watched, what is that strange looking man? What that you would think to point out? Like if I said, name the strange looking man in this movie, who would you point out?
Talking about what when we watch 48 Hours?
Yeah, when we watch 48 Hours.
I don't know.
So remember that guy that Nick Nolte as Jack Gates that he was talking to at the police precinct when they were sat across from each other on the desk?
On the desk, talking about his, partner at the desk? Him?
Yeah. Doesn't he look strange to you?
Like, I don't know.
He looks strange to me. He's got this weird shape to his head. His nose kind of sticks out. Every time they need something strange, they get that guy. That's a strange looking guy. So he's in Blade Runner, being a strange looking guy in Blade Runner. And he was in The Fifth Element, being a strange looking guy in The Fifth Element. In The Fifth Element, he was the guy that went to go get Bruce Willis to take, to recruit him for that mission. He's not normal. He's a strange looking guy. And whenever they need somebody who's strange looking, they get that guy.
We have Carrie Sherman, who was playing Rosalie.
Yeah.
She was also in Santa Barbara.
Yeah, Santa Barbara was a popular, soap opera that was on for a couple of years. She's mainly a television actress, but they plucked her out of television to, actually, this is one of her first projects that she did. But she's mainly a television actress. She was the girl that got kidnapped. So not much for her to do but scream. And finally, what we have on this list, obviously there's a lot more actors that was in this movie. But on this list, we have Jonathan Banks. He was in Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, and Gremlins. So the reason I put him on there, because he had a very small role, but he has a very distinctive look. So the reason I grabbed him, because we've seen him before. I only have the show that we watched together. We seen him in Gremlins.
Uh-huh.
So he was one of the police officers that was running away from the Gremlins. Remember the two police officers in the car?
Uh-huh.
So he was a smaller one. Oh, he was also in.
Don't hurt yourself.
Huh?
Don't hurt yourself.
He was in the movie that we watched that we reviewed for the show, or that we talked about for the show. Trying to think. Hold on. I think I can get it because they were in a hallway and they killed somebody. And so after they killed somebody, they were being chased. I want to say that it was Beverly Hills Cop. Yes, it was Beverly Hills Cop. It was in a hallway. It was like early in the movie. Turns out to be another Eddie Murphy movie. It was early in the movie. Eddie Murphy, as whatever he's playing, went to see his friend and they, laughing and joking at his apartment. Next thing you know, the robbers came because the guy.
Let me guess, he was the guy. He was the cop that got shot second, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's the guy that got shot second.
Uh-huh.
Right there, you go. In 48 Hours, he got shot second because for some reason Gates decided to just give up his gun to the bad guy, which it's not something the police is supposed to do. I don't know why he does it in this movie.
And he had emptied the clip so he can charge at him, but I guess not.
I mean, because. They break all the rules. They in this movie, they break all. None of the things they did in this movie was legal.
Of course it wasn't.
I mean, nothing. It was like, and then young kids, they see this movie and they want to be police officers and they act just like that, doing everything illegal. And we citizens have to deal with it because that movie it caused a lot of problems. And movies like that. So let's see. So that's it for.
Yeah.
Who acted.
This was directed by Walter Hill. He also directed Brewster's Millions, Undisputed, Red Heat, and The Warriors.
Yeah, he's gotten a lot of pretty good movies. I haven't seen most of these movies, but I know that they were good. The only movie on this list that I've seen is Brewster's Millions. I mean, I keep hearing about the Warriors. I know they made a great video game about the Warriors, but I had never actually seen or played a video game of the Warriors.
I heard it was good.
Yeah, I heard it was good, but I was like, I ain't mess with it. It was written by Roger Spottiswoode. He wrote 48 Hours. He's a director. He's mainly a director, but I think this is just getting him into the entertainment business. And so he wrote this movie. It was also written by Walter Hill. He's done work in Aliens, Undisputed, Red Heat, and The Warriors. So he writes and directs. So it's like he writes stories like I would like to direct the story that I just wrote. We also have Larry Gross. He wrote We Don't Live Here Anymore and True Crime, among a bunch of other movies. And then Stephen E. D'Souza, and he's written, among other things, Lara Croft Tomb Raider, The Cradle of Life, Judge Dredd, Street Fighter, and Die Hard. And the only movie, we actually talked about Die Hard, and he did Die Hard too, but the only movies that were really good were Die Hard 2. But I like Judge Dredd. Like, there are other people that talk about Judge Dredd. They don't like Judge Dredd, but I like Judge Dredd. Did you see that one?
No.
So this is a Judge Dredd with Sylvester Stallone, and the people who didn't like it were the Die Hard Judge Dredd fans, because people who read Judge Dredd knows that Judge Dredd never, ever, under any circumstances, even when he's taking a shower, he never takes off his helmet. Right.
Okay.
It's always on, even in ridiculous. His uniform could be torn up, but he never loses his helmet. And when the first thing that Sylvester Stallone does is Judge Dredd, he takes off his helmet.
And people are upset over that one little detail.
And then when they sold like in the movie posters, he wears his helmet, but when they started selling the DVDs, it's all Judge Dredd with no helmet on. People didn't like that. But I didn't read Judge Dredd, so I just thought it was a good movie until he started shooting people in law enforcement. That was kind of messed up. It's like, you're supposed to be one of the good guys. You're shooting other good guys. That doesn't make any sense. But they made it work. It was still kind of fun. The music was by James. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. The music is by James Horner. He did the Titanic, Avatar, The Mask of Zorro. Additional music by Brian O'Neill, The Boys Are Back in Town, 48 Hours. Kevin O'Neill, Love Songs for the Crazies, and The Bus Boys.
Right. And some additional trivia about the Bus Boys later on. So what'd you think of that music?
It was good.
Yeah,
it's a time frame.
And you've heard some of that before. We'll get into it later on. As a matter of fact, The Boys Are Back in Town, I think that was one of the songs they played in Back to the Future. So I'm 90% sure that it was performed by Huey Lewis and the News, but I am not exactly sure if it was in Back to the Future. It was executive produced by D. Constantine Conte, and they did Conan the Barbarian, The Presidio, and No Mercy. Have you seen Conan the Barbarian?
No, but I know it has what's his name? I can't remember it. He was
Is it the black guy or the white guy?
He was in the Terminator. That's all I know.
Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yes.
Yeah, he's got that guy. And it also has Darth Vader, also known as James Earl Jones. So they're both in it. So that was I just thought that was remarkable. It was like, the same person that decided to fund or greenlight Conan the Barbarian also did this movie. That's pretty awesome. Also, they did The Presidio and No Mercy. So those seem like, I think I've seen The Presidio. I'm not exactly sure. It was halfway decent. And I didn't see No Mercy, but I heard it was all right. So, yeah, they got a pretty good track record. So, how about, what comes up next?
Oh, yeah, we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back to talk about our favorite parts of the movie, some movie trivia, and find out what some of the critics thought.
The world's going cray-cray. We got fuel shortages on the East Coast. People are in line at the gas stations. People are hoarding fuel in 50-gallon containers. Gas prices are skyrocketing. So I have to ask, why are we putting up with this? Even if you have an electric vehicle, you're probably still relying on an electric grid that's fueled by fossil fuels. There's got to be a way around it, isn't there? Of course there is. Mr. Fusion. Developed in 2015, Mr. Fusion is your personal nuclear power plant. It literally runs on the things that you toss away. Paper cups, plastic straws, chicken leg bones, you name it. If it fits, it fuels your car. When you modify your car with Mr. Fusion, you can expect 1,000 miles to the gallon. Just bring your gas-guzzling monster to their facility, and with their professional installation, they'll tame that beast. You don't ever have to wait in another gas line. Just get Mr. Fusion, nuclear power at your fingertips. Just visit their website and set an appointment at one of their 80 facilities nationwide. Use promo code BACKLOOK for a 50% discount for a limited time. That's promo code BACKLOOK. Mr. Fusion, the future is now. Now, back to the show.
And we're back. Thank you for sticking with us here at the Backlook Cinema Podcast. So, Zachary, let me ask you, how do you feel about this movie overall?
It was good.
It was good. All right. You enjoyed it. I appreciate that. I felt I picked a winner. I know I loved this movie when I was growing up. It was so impactful way back in the day. I think I watched this movie on videotape because we never got taken to the movies. I can literally count on one hand how many times that your grandmother and your great grandmother took us to the movies. So yeah, it was a rare treat. But once it got on video cassette, it was on like Donkey Kong. So, and it's funny because I remember almost nothing about this movie. I only remember like 2 or 3 parts. I remember the part where when they go into the bar. I remember that part. That was fun. And I remember the part where when he grabs and talking about we ain't brothers, we ain't partners, we ain't friends. That was kicker. That's one of the things that stuck with you. And what was the last part? There was one more part. Oh, the part where Gans gets Hammond at the end of the movie. And he just gets shot. But it's funny because I remember it differently. So I think because there's a sequel called Another 48 Hours. So I think the same situation occurs where Hammond gets, kidnapped or whatever. It's like basically he's held as a body shield. And Gates has to make a decision whether to try to shoot the criminal or not. So that was, and then they solved that in a different way. So... Tell me, what were your favorite parts of the movie?
The very beginning where you see the convicts, they're working on, I guess, a railroad. I guess that's what they're working on.
They're doing some kind of road work.
Yeah, that's what it is. And then, you see a car pull up asking for some water. And that's when Gans goes up to the guy talking about, I forgot what type of water he was talking about he should be looking for.
He want water for his car.
Yeah, for his car. He's talking about, well, you might be looking in the wrong place for water or whatever. And, when, he made a second comment. I forgot what it was, but then that's when the guy who got out of the car fights him.
Right. And so again, by him, you're talking about
Billy Bear, which is weird.
Well, Billy Bear is the one that got out of the car.
Yeah, he got out of the car.
And one of the convicts keeps mouthing off to him.
That was Gans.
Right, Gans. Right.
Gans mouthing off. And then that's when they get in a fight. Only for the cops that's supposed to be guarding, Gans from the other guy, whatever, telling them, to stop and knock it off and getting closer, only for him to get shot by both of them. And I'm like, oh, okay. So he had 2 guns on him, and during the tussle, the fight, he handed a gun.
Right.
I'm like, okay, that's pretty clever.
That was a rather brilliant prison escape.
Also, I'm going to, I'm pretty sure cars are supposed to be chained to each other, so that doesn't happen. But
well, it depends on the work that they're doing because they do call it a chain gang for that reason. And I'm thinking that because of the crimes that they were convicted on, they probably should have been chained together. Because when I'm driving down the road, I do see people in orange jumpsuits
picking up trash.
Right, picking up trash off the side of the road, and they're not trained together, but I wager that they're probably like low risk offenders. They're probably just in there for stealing or for swindling or something like that. But they're not in there for murder. And I think Gans was in there for murder.
Murder and robbery.
Excuse me. Yeah. So what more about that scene?
So they shoot the one cop, the other cops try to shoot back, but then they get shot. Only one cop doesn't get shot and die because he's calling for backup and help.
Right.
And the other 2 gets away along with the other convicts who runs away.
Oh yeah.
They have no chain.
Right, they got no chain. They can just peace out. So
and the cop is only calling in about them. Talking about, oh yeah, 2 armed men getting away. Don't worry about the other guys.
Well, yeah, the other guys didn't shoot at him. Actually, they weren't cops. They were prison guards. But yeah, the other ones didn't shoot at. They were being shot at by that one guy. That guy that was in for murder and now escaped. So yeah, they want to get that guy with the gun. They want the guy with the gun.
Another good scene is when Jack, he pulls up behind 2 other not detectives but cops, because I guess they're undercover cops. I don't know what kind of cops they're supposed to be, but seeing how they have no uniform, undercover cops, that's what they are.
Right.
So he pulls up. They started chatting, and then basically they're ribbing on him for not having a partner, because apparently whenever he has a partner, they end up dying on him.
Well, they're not undercover cops. They're plainclothes cops. Plainclothes.
And they go into a hotel.
Yeah.
Go in and tell them, oh yeah, we're back again. Did anyone come and did this guy come back in? Like, yes, but you need a warrant. And then Jack just push her aside, telling her, all right, here he is.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. All that illegal stuff.
I'm pretty sure you need a warrant.
Yeah, all that illegal stuff that they're doing. I mean, they could have called ahead they could have did anything. But no, they just because they already know the guy is there, and they don't know who the guy is. All they know is that they're chasing a guy who stole somebody's identity and. Well, actually, he murdered the dude and they stole his identity. So they know that this dude is a killer and he stole somebody's identity.
I want to know how they got away with that one, because he got shot in the head. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure you did not have a silencer on you.
No, I mean, it could have been a car backfiring, especially if it's a single shot. It could have been a car backfiring.
That was a straight headshot.
Yeah, I know. But
exactly. No.
People get shot in broad daylight all the time.
That's when there's a bunch of people around? No.
Well, where they were, it didn't look like there was a bunch of people around. They was in a park, right.
There was enough people around for that.
I mean, it could have been,
Let's see.
Yeah, so they go in to the hotel, do the illegal tactic of finding out what room he's in. And so they supposed to be going up to the room to get the dude.
Yeah, they go up and then, gunfight happens.
Right.
Because Gans grabs the female that he ordered, told her to answer the door while holding her at gunpoint, and then pulled her aside to knock her out, and then commenced the gunfight, killing one of the guys, injuring the other one, going downstairs. Then you have Jack, he's like, okay, he goes upstairs, your coworker's down. He's okay. He's still alive. He goes down to chase the other 2. But then after, a little fight happens, Gans loses his gun. But Billy Bear grabs the receptionist at the desk, holding her hostage. Jack is trying to figure out what to do, because the girl is being held hostage while at gunpoint as well. Gans has no gun.
No, he didn't lose his gun yet.
Yeah, he did. He was. Gans was holding the girl hostage, I believe.
Gans loses his gun. I'm getting characters. You're right. Gans loses his gun during the fight.
Billy Bear has his gun.
Right.
And that's when Jack coworkers come down and he's like, again, his gun is out of bullets. Because he's pulling
he's
the trigger.
Clicking,
I'm like,
so he's basically in shock.
You're like, he's already shot, bleeding.
So that pain. Dude is, so he's been shot. So because he's been shot, he is in shock. So he's walking down the stairs of the hotel, just clicking his trigger.
And then Gang's like, hey, toss me a gun, and then, you guys can, I guess.
Yeah, Jack has him at gunpoint, but then,
I'm like, I don't see what the loss is. You can shoot Billy right there, and then quickly turn to Gans and then get rid of him, because he ain't got nothing.
Right.
But he goes ahead and decides to toss him his gun.
Right.
That's when Gans told Billy Bear to go get the car. He go gets it, and they escape. But before Gans leave, he shoots the other guy. I'm like, oh, okay.
Right. Yeah, because the bargain was like, if Billy Bear's going to shoot him if you don't give me your gun, which is dumb. He could have.
I can just shoot Billy Bear and shoot you. And
I guess he was afraid he would shoot Billy Bear's hostage. And then how the gunfight started in the first place, it was kind of clever, because he was in one hotel room and Billy Bear was in another hotel room. So Billy Bear is his partner in crime. He got the prostitute that he ordered or the sex worker that he ordered. So what happened is that after Gans knocks out his own the woman that his sex worker turned hostage, after he knocks her out, he runs through there. It turns out they're in a connected room. So he runs into Billy Bear's room, and then when he opens Billy Bear's door, they can see the cop knocking on his door, and they just start open fire, and that's how that whole thing started. One dude was shot, killed almost immediately, and the second dude, there was a little back and forth, and then he gets hit, and then they try to get out, and that's when the whole thing with downstairs in the hostage situation, and Jack just tossing his gun to a murderer just because the murderer said, well, if you give me your gun, I won't kill anybody. That seemed dumb, but he did it anyway, and he killed the dude. He killed the other police officer anyway, and gets away with Jack's gun. So don't know how that works out, but that's how they solve that problem.
Another good scene is when Jack goes down to, I guess, the police precinct.
Was there a lot of police officers there?
Well, no, I'm not talking about that scene. I'm talking about when the jail cell.
He goes to the prison.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, when he goes to the prison to get Reggie.
Right.
He goes in, he sees Reggie singing, listening to music. He picks up, I don't know what it was.
It looked like a Walkman or something like that.
And just screams into it, basically alarming Reggie. And then after that, he's trying to ask him out, hey, do you know anyone named Gans? Which I'm trying to catch him because he killed a bunch of cops. He took my gun. And yeah, that's just about it. Do you know where he's at? And he's like, well, I do have an issue with him, but I want to make a deal. If you want my help, then you need to get me out of here. And he's like, I'm not doing that. And then Reggie's like, well, it looks like you won't get Gans then, because if I'm not out there, you won't be able to catch him.
Right.
And then Jack goes ahead, gets the order for him to, have him out for only 2 days. And he's like, and then the guy that's like, I'm not gonna, break my neck over this for you. Also, you should look into, forging signatures because apparently you're pretty good at that. I'm like, who is he forging? What signature is he forging?
What signature is that?
Is it his boss? This
right.
One really checks out, okay.
Right, because the dude did not want to be responsible for releasing the prisoner in the police custody. He's like, if you get caught, it's not me. You don't know who I am. I don't know who you are. And ladies and gentlemen of the audience, I don't know if you caught this, but when Zach described the scene where one character, that being the cop, played by Nick Nolte, walks into the jail cell of the convict, played by Eddie Murphy, and picks up a box, and Zach said, I don't know what that was that he picked up. Zach, being a millennial, has never seen a portable tape player.
I mean, I have. I just don't know what it is or what kind it is.
Right. I don't know what brand it was either. But yeah, it was a portable tape player. Hadn't seen one of those in probably a couple of decades. But the thing where he screamed into it, I don't know if that works. He could have just stopped the music. That would have worked too. But you screaming into a tape player, I don't think that would work, and giving any kind of audio feedback. It looks good, but I don't see how that would work in real life. But yeah, he screams into the thing somehow, and there's audio feedback, and it startled Reggie, played by Eddie Murphy, and but that was a fun scene, and he's singing as well. I don't know what song he was singing. I want to say it's a Stevie Wonder song, but I don't know for sure. So, what other parts you like?
Another good scene is when Reggie and Jack go into this, I guess, a cowboy bar, and then before they do, he's like, "Okay, how about we make a bet? If I win, you give me, you help me basically get laid because I've been in prison for 2.5 years,
right?
And if you win, I guess I'll tell you the truth on why I want Gans."
Right.
And then he's like, well, for a cop, it's based on experience. You can't just go in there, do what you want. And then Reggie's like, well, it's not even about, it's just about the badge. It's not even about experience. As long as you got the badge, you can just do whatever. So that was the bet. And he's like, if you can get any information, then you win the bet. But if you can't, I win the bet. Right. So he goes ahead. Jack goes ahead and gives Reggie his badge. They go in. Reggie goes up to the bar because, and here's the thing, since it's a Cowboys bar,
it's not just a Cowboys bar, it's a redneck bar. Right. So it's got Confederate flags.
A whites.
Right.
Confederate flags left and right. I'm like, okay. And, he walks in, everyone's just eyeing him slowly. So, and he walks up to the bar, asks for whiskey, and then the bartender's like, oh, would you like a black Russian? And he's like, ha, oh, that's funny, because I'm black, huh?
Right.
Gets his, it wasn't whiskey, it was,
I forgot what he wanted.
Vodka, that's what it was.
Right.
He gets his vodka, drinks it, throws the glass out the window, asking for Billy Bear, and then he's not getting his answers, and so he goes around, basically establishing his dominance using the badge while covering up the picture of the ID. Right. Because they would know that that's not his badge.
Right.
All he has to do is show the golden star, and that's A-okay.
Right. And then he starts harassing the
customers. And then he steals a gun from one, steals a switchblade from another, picks out and tells where you get this money. My tax return. Nah, you're too stupid to have a tax return. I'm like, wow. Okay.
He said he's too stupid to have a job.
I'm like, okay, wow. All right. Off to a good start, aren't we now?
Right.
And then he's established his dominance because he's a cop in a redneck's bar, and they know they can't really do anything without the cops on them. So they just let him do what he's doing.
Right. He was like, they're like, who are you? I'm your worst nightmare. I'm an N-word with a badge.
Talking about there's a new sheriff in town, and his name is Reggie Hammond.
Reggie Hammond.
And he also takes the bartender's hat and then gives it back to him. He does get the information with what he wanted, which is Billy Bear's girlfriend's like down up the street at this place. And even though he doesn't like the information, he got something. He got a lead to something.
Right.
And so, they exit the place. And then, Jack's like, you did good, but also give me the gun. Give me the switchblade.
Right.
He's like, okay, and he's like, Jack's like, okay, how about this? Since instead of me getting late, how about you give me the gun? So Jack's like, all right, takes out the clip, removes that one blade that's loaded, hands Reggie the gun. Reggie looks at it, tosses the gun. I'm like, yeah, I would do the same, because you just handed me an empty gun.
Right.
I wanted the gun in full.
Right. So, anything else you liked about that part?
That was it for that part until they had to go down to Billy Bear's girlfriend, and then they bust in.
All illegal. It's like all
illegal.
Nothing
they
legal
bust
about that.
in. Jack is holding his gun up point at Billy Bear's girlfriend. Reggie gets hit in the arm by another girl with a baseball bat, and he's like, "You better do." I think he said, "Do as they said," because he thinks he's Babe Ruth.
Right.
I'm like, oh, all right then. And then he's trying to convince her that he's a cop, but she doesn't believe him. Tell him, oh, yeah, sure, you're a cop. And he's like, I'm okay, just calm down. I'm going to reach for my badge slowly. Pulls it out. He's like, oh, yeah, sure, I've seen fake badges before. I'm like, wow.
Right. She wasn't having any of that.
She was not believing not one lick of it.
I mean, why would she? Because they done entered illegally anyway.
They entered illegally. And the other girl that hit Raven, somebody, or where's your badge? I'm like, I don't have one. I'm a cop. I'm like, of course.
Right. So, interesting little tidbit. The woman that took a swung at Eddie Murphy, that was Denise Crosby, and she went on to play Tasha Yar on the first season of Star Trek, The Next Generation. And then she didn't like being there no more, so she left. So, moving right along.
What was trying to think. Trying to think what happened after that, because they didn't get any information.
Right.
And so what I think Reggie was like, yeah, I also have a car, because I'm pretty sure that's where what was his name? Luther's gonna go for it.
Right. So basically what happens is that so what's his name? That Gans, he wants the money that basically he stole from Hammond do some whatever shenanigans. So,
but Hammond stole his money back.
Right. So, it's hidden in Hammond's car, and somehow, for whatever reason, what's his name, Luther. They're all in a gang together. Oh shoot! Oh no, it's just whatever. So Luther, Gans, and whatever. I guess they're in some kind of loose association. So for whatever reason, Luther has Gans' car. Well, he has the keys. He has access to Gans' car, and Gans' car is where the money is. So he's going to take. Oh shit! I got it all confused. Luther has the keys to Hammond's car.
I mean, I don't think he has the keys because they landed. He
has a ticket so that he can get the car. So
and
basically,
I'm pretty sure that the valet had the keys.
Right. So basically, Gans goes to Luther talking about where's my money, and Luther tells Gans, well, it's in the parking garage. I gotta wait till it's open so we can get the money out of the car, and I promise you I'll get it. So that's when Gans takes Luther's girlfriend as insurance. He's going to kidnap her and he's going to keep her until he gets the money from Gans. Until Gans gets the money from Luther. So that's why they what you call it. So the cop and the convict, they stake out the parking garage where Hammond's car is at, and then they see Luther go inside to get the car, and that's the part you're talking about.
Yep.
So there's a part where they actually get there that night.
Yeah, that night. And then Reggie's like, hey, wake me up, man, because we're going to be here all night because that place doesn't open up until the morning. I'm like, okay, wow.
Right.
And then when the morning comes, Jack...
I like the part. I would just interject right here.
All
When Hammond was like, I'm going to go in the back. I'm going to go to sleep. He's like, you knew the money was here all along? It's like, yeah, just hang tight. Just wake me up at 7.
Yeah.
And then he was like, Jack, it's like, what? Read me a story. Read me a story.
Fuck you. That's my favorite. I'm like, okay. Alrighty then.
Right.
And then it goes to where it's in the morning. Jack is coming from, I guess, a donut shop, wherever store he went to get food. He quietly sneaks in and then shuts the door when he gets in the car to wake up Raymond. I'm like, okay.
Right.
Man. Also, I forgot, I accidentally skipped over the part where they went to actually go first meet Luther. And then Reggie's telling Jack that, he's always on edge. If you go up there knocking on his door, he's going to be packing. So just be careful because he doesn't like people knocking on his door because he doesn't expect anyone. So he goes and, Jack goes up to the door, knocks on it, no answer. Luther pops up from the stairs, shoots, and then he doesn't hit, but he misses and then runs away. As he's running, Reggie, who was told to stay in the car, who was also handcuffed to the car, steering wheel, opens up the car door to hit Luther, causing him to fall. I'm like, oh, wow.
Yeah, that was pretty slick.
Not only that, he grabs Luther's gun, and then Jack comes down talking about put the gun down. I'm like, why? What would he do with it? Well, he's cooperating. Like, I understand you don't trust him yet, but at least he's cooperating with you.
Well,
that's
the main thing is that he don't trust him. That's the main thing. And it's like he's a convict, so why would he trust him?
And then there was also the fight that those two had.
Right.
And then 2 other cops come, talking about put your hands in the air. Jack's like, I'm a cop. I have a badge. It's in my car. And he's like, go check. He's like, oh yeah, he's a cop. I'm like, see, just have your badge on you.
Well, he just dropped it.
I know, he
so
dropped
that they
it.
can have a fight.
But it's not like he's going to use it as a weapon, even though he fights dirty, but still.
Right. And Jack is like almost permanently drunk anyway. He's like, he has a permanent budge because, he drinks so much. He's at a bar. He already has a drink for it. He goes to make a phone call or something, but he still takes out his flask that is filled with probably vodka or whiskey or whatever, takes a swig out of his flask, and then walks over to the bar and drink whatever drink that he has over the bar. Looks like rum and coke.
Also, at the beginning of the movie, he poured his flask, some of his last containment into his coffee. I'm like... And that he didn't drink his coffee either. He just leaves it. I'm like, what was the whole point of that?
Right.
That was a waste.
Yeah, dude is just drinking and
smoking. Like almost every scene, he's smoking.
And it's funny, right? Because they kind of started an arc between him and his girlfriend, between the cop Jack and his girlfriend, and it was never actually resolved. It
wasn't. It's like you can see they have like this little fallout because of how Jack is so focused on his work,
right?
And his wife's not happy. She doesn't like that,
right? So the last thing you see, the last time they talk, they hang up and they scream at each other, and they don't pick up after that. It was it's like it's like something that's not resolved in this movie. And so the only resolution that they have is like near the end of the movie where they have like, they chase Gans and they have a shootout with Gans and Billy Bear, miraculously without killing their girlfriends. And so
I just love how Billy Bear just smiles holding a knife and he thinks he's going to be able to do something. I'm like, you're holding a knife to a gun.
Because he doesn't think that, because he could see
Reggie was shaking. I was like, I see you're shaking.
Right. So
but still, that's just something you don't want to try. So he still has a gun on the trigger, his finger on the trigger.
He basically planned on just rushing Reggie, and
didn't end up getting shot 2 times.
Right. So that was quite the movie.
Also, I love how they did two things. When Jack was like, "You're not my friend, you're not my partner, you're not my brother." I was like, okay, then. That was nice. And then after when they had that little fight, that's when Reggie's like, "You're not my partner, you're not my friend, you're not my brother." I'm like, oh. And then again, they both was like, what was the time I regret meeting you, something like that.
They said, if Gans gets in the way, you're gonna regret you ever met me.
You regret it. I already regret. And then Jack was like, and then Reggie was like, "Yeah, you're gonna regret that you ever met me." And then Jack's like, "I already regret it." Drives. I'm like, okay then.
Right. And then it's funny because when they're having this shout out or whatever, Reggie is half in, half out the car. Like he's not even really in the car. He's supposed to be getting in the car. And it's a convertible, so he's barely in the car. And then when after they shout at each other, Jack steps on the gas and the car pulls forward and then knocks. Basically, it not only does it knock Reggie into the back seat, but it slams the door on his own because it's a crappy piece of car, not well kept. So that was pretty good movie, pretty good cop drama in spite of all of the illegal acts that took place. And the happy ending is when Reggie goes back to jail. That's a happy ending. So let's move along. We're running tight on time. So let's get to the trivia provided by IMDb, where we get all of our trivia from, because research is hard and no sense to try to, stress out over it. So let's talk about James Rebar. James Rebar often went without any sleep before shooting his scenes in order to give bad guy Gans a more washed out psychotic look. And you know what? I have to say it worked.
Yep. The first scene at the police station, which begins at around 20-minute mark, was apparently shot in a single take and lasts 3 minutes with no visible cuts. Oh yeah, you can definitely tell there was no visible cuts where everyone was walking around like that.
Right. It looked very busy, and the camera kept moving. That was a really slick shoot. They did a good job on that. This is after the police get killed, and it was all chaos inside the police office, and so the camera just kept moving just rolling side to side, picking up all the action. That was very slick. So according to Nick Nolte, No Exit, 2008. Most of the dialogue between him and Eddie Murphy was improvised. So that was slick.
Debut, the theatrical feature film of actor-comedian Eddie Murphy.
Right.
So that was the debut.
Right. This is his first movie. You can see that some of his acting was a little stiff, but he had come off of the 7th season of Saturday Night Live. So it was not like he was brand new to acting. He was just brand new to movie performance. He had a acting coach and I think pretty much just the acting coach that helped him in his film. During the filming of a scene where Denise Crosby hits Eddie Murphy in the stomach with a rubber baseball bat prop, Murphy was afraid that Crosby would actually hit him instead of stopping about a foot away like all stage movie blows. She demonstrated her control on both Walter Hill and Nick Nolte to assure Murphy, but ended up hitting him anyway during the take. And what's funny about that is that you don't even really see it. Like, it's all kind of like shadows.
Yeah, it's
or
all
whatnot.
dark in there.
Right.
In that selection that they're in.
Right. So it would have looked really good if they had caught it in the shot, but they didn't even catch it. So that's kind of messed up.
Walter Hill allegedly felt that Eddie Murphy, 48 Hours, that came out in 1982 character Reggie Hammond, has been reused and morphed into Axel Foley for Beverly Hills Cops 1984 and its sequels.
Yeah, and he's exactly right. They're not too far away from each other, but the thing is, this is very early in Eddie Murphy's career, so he what am I trying to say?
He just had his style.
He basically, he had his style, and he wasn't that he didn't have a lot of range at that early point, because he's not really. It's not that he took the character of Reggie Hammond and morphed it into Axel Foley. It's really all of his Saturday Night Live characters, because all of them were basically the same. So it's just various versions of Eddie Murphy on Saturday Night Live. So he just continued that when he made his early movies. And then later on, if you notice, later in his career, he gained a lot more range, and it's way more nuance in his acting. Like, say, in one of the latest movies he did. I'm trying to think. Oh, Coming to America. Or even first Coming to America, there's a lot more nuance in his acting than in his early films. So, I forgot where we're at.
I was going to say G.
According to Eddie Murphy, he was almost fired for not being funny. He said he was not made aware of this until after the movie had wrapped.
According to Eddie Murphy, his agent at the time was Walter Hill's girlfriend and recommended him to Hill.
Man, 6 degrees of separation, right? Reportedly, Eddie Murphy's paycheck was US $450,000, whilst Nick Nolte's salary was US $1 million. For the film's sequel, Another 48 Hours, in 1990, reportedly, Nolte got a US $3 million, whilst Murphy received US $7 million.
Now we can see who got more importance.
Right. The tables turned. Tables flipped.
Nick Nolte was the top first billed, while Eddie Murphy received second billing. The billing order would be reversed for the movie's 1990 sequel, Another 48 Hours, that came out in 1990, where Murphy would be billed first and Nolte second.
Wow, because Nolte was the big star in the first 48 Hours movie.
And now he's taking the second fiddle.
Right. It was like they decided that Eddie Murphy was a little bit more valuable. They figured that if anything goes wrong, they could probably replace Nick Nolte, but Another 48 Hours, they decided would be Eddie Murphy's movie. So Eddie Murphy states in his 2008 biography special that his character's name was originally scripted to be Willie Biggs. He had concerns that the name, as it sounded too much like a Hollywood made-up black guy's name. He suggested the last name Hammond based on the raspy-voiced cool kid from his hometown named Terrence Hammond. Reggie was a compromise by having just the first name be a typical Hollywood made-up black guy name.
Eddie Murphy revealed on Inside the Actors Studio that came out in 1994 that he didn't know how to act when drawing a gun, so he simply did what he did in every movie. Impersonate the facial expression of ready for a battle martial arts legend Bruce Lee.
Right. So when you see him getting ready to fire a gun, he just made a face he thought Bruce Lee would make. And apparently he's done that in every movie since. So now every time I watch Eddie Murphy and where he's in a movie with a gun, I'm going to have to pay attention to his face now. Paramount Picture Studios I read that all wrong. The inflection was wrong. Paramount Picture Studio executives were concerned during shooting that the picture would be too violent to also function effectively as a comedy. The hotel lobby shootout was the exec's major grave concern because the violent shootout in the hotel lobby sequence, according to the book Walter Hill, Last Man Standing, 2004 by Patrick McGillian, Walter Hill was told he would never work for Paramount again. Hill did, though, as he directed another 48 Hours in 1994 Paramount.
People got to stop saying certain things. When a movie get successful, they should wait until if it flops or not.
Right.
If it flops, then you can say, like, you know what? You ain't going to be working again. But don't say it before any results of the movie.
Right. Yeah, the studio was real concerned about that first shootout. For 1990s, that was super violent, and they were really concerned about that.
Reggie's lines to Jack, "Forget this, man. We ain't brothers, we ain't partners, we ain't friends," is repeated by Zeus to McClane in Die Hard with a Vengeance that came out in 1995.
Yeah, so yeah, I do remember when they did that. I was like, oh, that's a nice callback to an old movie. Jack Cate's character, played by Nick Nolte, apparently became the inspiration for the Sonny Crockett character on a later hit television series, Miami Vice, in 1994. 48 Hours, 1992 actress Olivia Brown went on to be a regular on the same show.
Gregory Hines was the first choice to play Reggie Heyman, but dropped due to scheduling conflicts with the Cotton Club that came out in 1984. In fact, Eddie Murphy later confessed that he was the fourth or fifth choice for the part. Other actors considered for the role included Richard Pryor, the late Howard E. Rollins Jr., and a young Denzel Washington. Again, this is supposed to be a comedy movie. I don't think Denzel Washington would have worked for a comedy movie.
None of them. Well, Richard Pryor could have went either way, and but I think Howard E. Rollins Jr. Do you remember him?
No.
He was in The Soldier Story. So in that movie we watched in February, and it was the Army story where this Army officer that black people hadn't seen in a while, right? He played the Army officer. So he plays very serious roles. So this movie could have went either way. It could have went with because as a matter of fact, even when they made this movie, they were continuously rewriting it, and they continued to rewrite it up until shooting. And you got to remember that Nick Nolte, Eddie Murphy, they improvised most of their lines anyway. So had this been Denzel Washington or Howard E. Rollins, this would have been a serious movie. I think I didn't put it in this report, but they actually considered like somebody like Sylvester Stallone or somebody like that to be in this movie. But then, when they got Eddie Murphy, they was like, well, let's make it a comedy. Even Beverly Hills Cop, that was supposed to be a serious movie. That was also written specifically for Sylvester Stallone. And then when they couldn't get him, it was like, well, let's get Eddie Murphy. And now it's a comedy now. If you want me, get Eddie Murphy in the early 80s. It's comedy. It's comedy right now. That's like, we're doing this. The band at Vroman's is the Busboys, who in real life would open for Eddie Murphy's comedy concerts. During breaks and filming, Murphy would join the band for a musical number and ham it up. So those guys in that nightclub near the end of the movie, the black band, that's a real band that Eddie Murphy used when he was on the road.
The movie during the late 1970s was originally designed as a vehicle for Clint Eastwood as a cop and Richard Pryor as the con. Around this time, Eastwood wanted to play a criminal and turned down the film and went and starred as a convict in Escape from Alcatraz that came out in 1979. The picture that then went into turnaround for a time and didn't go back into development for another couple of years.
Yeah, so he turned down being in 48 Hours, and then to do this other movie. He wanted
to play the bad guy.
Apparently, the movie that ended up going to hiatus or to stop production or whatever, because I don't know what turnaround is, but the context suggests that the movie could not continue production. So he could have been in both movies, but once you get contractually bound, So moving on, the first 4 movies with Frank McRae as a police captain. The next would be another 48 Hours in 1990. Then The Last Action Hero in 1993. And finally, Loaded Weapon 1. Now, funny thing is that they're making fun, in the last 2 movies, they're making fun of him almost always being a police officer. So in 48 Hours, another 48 Hours, he's the police captain. That's the black guy with the knot on his forehead screaming all the time. Yep. And so in The Last Action Hero, he's screaming so much that steam is literally coming out of his ears, because The Last Action Hero is a parody about Hollywood movies. And then in Loaded Weapon 1, that's a straight parody, and he plays a captain on there, basically making fun of himself.
According to AllMovie, the movie greatly bolstered the career of Nick Nolte and made comedian Eddie Murphy a bona fide box office sensation. Murphy's debut in this movie, like Lauren Bacall's in Two Have and Have Not, that came out in 1994, is considered one of the most sensational debuts in screen history.
Oh, that's actually 1944.
Oh, 1944.
But yeah, it was like basically made Lauren Bacall an instant star. So this movie, but Eddie Murphy was always on a rise because he was one of the favorite actors in Saturday Night Live. But this movie basically ignited his film career. Like, not even Will Smith has a great film career, especially when he started. But Independence Day wasn't his first movie. His first movie was completely different. What was it? 7 Degrees of Separation, I think it was called. I can't remember. But it was a heavy drama. People liked it, and it was based on a play. But it wasn't like this movie was for Eddie Murphy. So you know what? We talked about how we liked it. You said you liked this movie. Let's see what the critics thought. So the critics gave it 92%, and the audience gave it 69% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is kind of strange for the critics. It's like it's so much better than the audience do. But they really dug the movie. So because the critics gave it a 93%, it was actually kind of difficult finding negative reviews. But I dug deep into the Rotten Tomatoes website, and I found some. In IMDb, the reviews were 6.9 out of 10. So it kind of keeps pace with the audience scores on Rotten Tomatoes. So,
yeah, okay then. Victoria Alexander from FilmsInReviews.com ignited the whole anti-buddy genre.
Right. And you know what? She's probably right. They continue to copy the formula of the body cop or the people that don't get along but still try to work together type of genre. So Alex Sanders from Juicy Cerebellum wrote, "This film never worked for me." What kind of person are you, Alex? Why would you say such a thing? What does work for you? Man, this movie was all that in a bag of chips, as we used to say back in the day.
Robert Ebert from Chicago Sun-Times.
Oh, that's Roger. Let's get his name right. Let's respect the man.
Okay, Roger Ebert. The movie story is nothing to write home about. It's pretty routine. What makes the movie special is how it's made. Nolte and Murphy are good, and their dialogue is good too. Quirky and funny.
You know what? He hates giving up flowers because he hates life. But he gave up flowers for this movie. He tried to be. He was a little bit stingy though, talking about the movie story was nothing to write home about. I mean, you know, it's cops breaking the law. What more do you want? And so Richard, this is a good name. You're lucky you didn't get this. I almost thought I gave you this one, but I didn't give you this one. Let me see if I can crack this name because it's SCH. We know that from school. So, and then there's an I, so it's Skik, and then there's a CKEL. Kel. Skickel. That's what I'm going with. Richard Skickel. In Time Magazine, he wrote, "Neither jokes nor flashy action can completely distract audience from the failure to establish an authentic rather than a purely conventional connection between Nolte and Murphy." The thing is, you have a police officer and you have a convicted convict who's still serving his time. There really isn't supposed to be that much of a connection, but I can understand what he's saying. But you know, they tried when Nolte is apologizing for saying all the racist stuff that he said to Eddie Murphy after they fought each other in a fist fight. But you know, I don't know. I think Jack is just a racist cop. The problem that we have in today's society, like I said, little white children, they watch this movie. It's like, oh, I want to be a cop when I grow up, and then they act just like Jack Cates in this movie act, and it's like that's how black people get killed in society today. We got to change that. We got to change the narrative. So, finally, 48 Hours is, as of this recording, available for free for Amazon Prime customers. See, it's like I liked the movie when I was growing up, but now looking at through a different lens, I'm recognizing how problematic it can be. So I guess it's fair to say that it didn't age entirely well. You know, it's got some issues and complications. But considering when it was made, considering how I view the world now, I can still enjoy it for the time it came out, and then at the same time recognizes the type of problems that this type of media can cause in society today. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Am I making any sense?
I don't know.
I don't know either. The next episode will be Enter the Dragon. Are you familiar with Enter the Dragon?
I don't think so.
Enter the Dragon is the inspiration for Mortal Kombat. You want to know where all... Well, actually, it had a bunch of inspiration, but I think the main inspiration comes from Enter the Dragon. The other inspiration was... what's it called? I'm going to say it's another huge inspiration. Say it's called Big Time in Little China. Hold on. You know what? I can't remember. I can't remember the name. Stars a guy named Jack. It features a character named Jack Burton, and some of the Mortal Kombat concepts comes from Big Trouble in Little China. I knew I was going to get it. Have you seen that one?
I think I have.
So Big Trouble in Little China is another huge inspiration for Mortal Kombat, and but we're gonna watch the other one, Enter the Dragon, starring a young man named Bruce Lee. So once again, if you like this show, then please rate us, write a review, share it with someone. Use the hashtag BacklookCinema on Twitter or your favorite social media sites. Believe me, it matters. Be safe. Hug your loved ones. Dad, what did I say? I said loved ones. Hug your loved ones and be outstanding.